Okay, so one of the more important tools and references that you can use in Maya are what's called your image planes. So when we hit space and we're in our orthographic view here, so we have a top, front, and right or left, depending on what you like. We have these different reference images where we can actually put an image in the background to help us model our form correctly and more precisely. And that's this little button right here. So in each of these windows, you have this image plane button. Now I've given you some images to use to kind of work alongside with me here, but this video is just going to be showing you how to set them up. We'll do the full walkthrough with another set of reference images. Okay, so if you click on image plane, right, if you've downloaded the bidet images, right, you can see them here. And so since we're in the top view, go ahead and click on top bidet. Open that up. So that puts a reference image, right, on that axis where we can see the top. Same thing here on front. Go ahead and click this. Go ahead and hit front bidet. Okay, that shows you the front. And then click on image plane here and the side bidet. Okay, so there's lots of internet resources out there to try to find these reference like orthopedic views of things. But you can also take these images yourself. But a lot of these sites, some are pay sites, where you have to pay royalties or pay a license to use them. So just be careful in your Maya building. Make sure you're using images that you can use. Right, I've provided some links to some of those sites that you can kind of go through. And, obviously if it's free, it's free. But if they require a license, then, you'll have to go about either paying the author or paying the site. But in any case, once you have your reference images, this is how you would go about using them. Okay. So a couple of things. So we put in our three reference images, but there's some things that we need to do to make this more accurate. So the first thing is the top view and the front view are not in alignment, right? We're seeing this from the top, but we're also seeing it basically perpendicular to this, right? So we need to make sure, because if you see the bidet handle or whatever this is, the spout, same thing here, it's not in alignment, right? If this is the front view, this is the top view. So this top view needs to be rotated. So just like using the regular rotate tool, actually it's come to the channel editor so we can kind of see that. If I rotate this, right, we see it's on this y-axis. Let me go ahead and just hit 90 degrees. Oh, okay. So now that's more in line, right? So that's the proper top view, that's the proper front view, and this is the proper right-hand view. But we don't have anywhere to work, right? All these images are kind of taking up our working 3D arena. So what we're going to do is we're going to move each of these back a little bit, right? So I'm on the side view here. Notice it's on that translate X. So I'm going to just hit -20. I'm going to do the same for the front view. Move that out. -20. And then the top view, right? I'm going to move down -20. Okay. So now we can see I've got a clean area that I can work. Oop. Oops, what did I do here? Okay. All right, I can work here and build in real time 3D and use these orthographic views to help me. Okay. Now, a couple other things you can do to, let's say we don't want to accidentally move one of these while we're working. So what we can do is we can create a new layer, and also just for more accuracy on each of these views here. So the top view, this says image plane 1, right? We want to get into the habit of naming things and keeping things organized. So front view, right? We'll name that, and then we'll name the side view. Okay, so they're all named, we're organized, and we've just now created a layer. So what we can do is select all of these. You can click shift, hold shift click, get all three of those selected, and then right click on layer 1, add selected objects. So now they're all on a layer. I can turn that visibility on or off. And if you remember from the layers video, if I get this to R, right, now I can't select them, right? I can't do anything. I can't accidentally move them or anything like that. Okay. So now we're set up and ready to go, right? We can start modeling, right? If we wanted to start this, right, we could maybe get a circle or a sphere going, right? Start kind of building this out. Right. I mean, I'm not going to do this because I have another one to do this with, but this is just getting you set up, right? You could start, right, go to your faces. You could delete and then start extruding and so forth and so forth. So this is just to show you how to get started with your image planes, right? So the other way to do this, right? So before I was just clicking on this image plane to kind of load in a pre-rendered image, but you could also do this. Let me just start a new scene. You could also do this by going up to create. If you had different angles or for some reason like you wanted to change the scale or just have more control, you can go to create and then free image plane right here. What this does is this just essentially creates a blank image plane, right? There's nothing in it, but if you come to the attribute editor here, right, you have more control over it, right? And this right here, this little folder icon, I could load in each of these individually. Okay, I can change the gain here, right? Right. And then same thing if I wanted to kind of bring in another one, right? I'd want to rotate this. Oh, let me go back to channel box. So rotate 90 degrees, right? Click on my attribute editor, pick the image that I wanted, right? And I could do it that way as well too, okay? Right? So these are a really valuable way, like think of like rulers and guides and reference images to help you model your images more accurately. Okay. Next video will be a full walkthrough going over some of the tools that we've learned, right, using the Boolean and some of the things like to go about modeling in a different way, not necessarily better, but just the more ways you know how to do stuff, the better you'll be. Okay.